Let me ask you, how does it feel to wear a giant chicken suit under the burning sun just to buy food, while Hollywood calls you failure? Today, we unmask the real, deeply flawed journey of Brad Pitt, sharpening your English comprehension. You see the fame, the red carpets, the perfect image. But that is only the surface. What if the real story is about pressure, doubt, and quiet pain? Today, you are not just watching a story. You are stepping inside it. Brad Pitt was not born into fame. He grew up in Missouri. A quiet place. A simple life. Everything was planned for him. Finish college. Get a stable job. Stay safe. But something felt wrong. 2 weeks before graduation, he made a decision that shocked everyone. He packed his bags. He left college. He drove to Los Angeles with almost no money. Think about that for a second. Would you risk everything with no clear plan? Los Angeles did not welcome him. It tested him. He went to auditions. He got rejected again and again. No one cared who he was. To survive, he took any job he could find. He delivered refrigerators. He drove people around as a limo driver. And sometimes he stood outside a fast food restaurant wearing a giant chicken suit, under the hot sun, sweating, smiling at strangers who did not even look at him. This was his reality, not red carpets, not fame, just survival. Inside, something was breaking. He started to feel embarrassed. He started to question himself. Was this a mistake? At the same time, Hollywood began to notice him, but not in the way he hoped. People saw his face. They saw his looks. And they stopped there. Just another pretty guy. That label followed him everywhere. No one looked deeper. No one saw his potential. He was misunderstood. He lived in a world that looked beautiful on the outside, but inside it was empty, superficial. Everyone was chasing attention. Everyone was performing, and he felt lost in it. He wanted something real, something authentic, but he did not know how to find it. So he kept going, day by day, rejection by rejection, trying to prove that he was more than a face. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt stuck in a role you did not choose? Because this was just the beginning. And here's the real question. Can being too good looking actually become a prison? But survival was never the final goal. He did not come to Hollywood just to exist. He came to become someone. And that is where the real struggle began. He was surviving, but he was not satisfied. Brad Pitt had escaped failure, but now he faced a different problem. He was being seen, but not understood. He started getting roles. People noticed him. Magazines talked about him, but something fell off. There was a moment that could have changed everything. He was close to getting a role in Titanic. Think about that. One of the biggest movies in history. But it did not happen. He lost the role. At first, it felt like another rejection. Another door closed. But in a strange way, it saved him. Because Hollywood had already decided who he was. The charming guy. The romantic lead. The perfect face. And that image started to trap him. He could feel it. The roles were easy. The money was good. The fame was growing. But inside, he was empty. He was becoming successful for the wrong reasons. Let me ask you something. What is worse, failing or succeeding at something that is not really you? Brad started to see the truth. If he continued like this, he would become famous, but forget who he really was. So he made a risky decision. He said no. He turned down big movies. He walked away from easy success. People did not understand it. Some thought he was crazy. Why would anyone reject fame? Because he wanted something deeper. He wanted to be respected, not just admired. So he started choosing different roles. Strange roles, dark roles, roles that made people uncomfortable. He was no longer trying to look good. He was trying to be real. At the same time, he stepped away from the noise. He needed space. He found it in something simple, working with his hands. Clay, silence, focus. He began making pottery. No cameras, no pressure, just him in the process. It slowed him down. It grounded him. For the first time in a long time, he felt calm. This was not about fame. This was about identity. He was rebuilding himself, piece by piece. He stopped chasing attention. He started chasing meaning. And that changed everything. Because the moment you stop trying to impress the world is the moment you start becoming yourself. He made a choice, a hard one, to walk away from easy success. And that choice changed everything. He stopped chasing fame. He started chasing truth. And slowly everything changed. The world began to see a different Brad Pitt. Not the perfect face. Not the safe choice. But something deeper. Then came Fight Club. It was raw. It was chaotic. It was uncomfortable. And it shocked people. This was not the man they expected. He was intense, unpredictable, real. For the first time, people stopped talking about his looks. They started talking about his performance. That was a shift, from image to substance, from being seen to being respected. And he did not stop there. He kept choosing roles that challenged him, roles that carried weight, stories that had meaning. Year after year, he proved something important. He was not just a star. He was an actor. Then came another moment. Once upon a time in Hollywood. Calm, confident, effortless. He won an Oscar, the highest level of recognition. After years of being misunderstood, he was finally seen. But here's the part people do not talk about. Success does not protect you from pain. In fact, sometimes it makes it louder. Behind the cameras, his life was falling apart. His marriage ended. A painful and very public divorce. Every detail discussed. Every moment judged. There was no privacy. No escape. He also lost something deeply personal. The French estate. Chateau Miraval. It was not just a house. It was a symbol of family, of peace, of a life he thought would last. And then came the legal battles. Long, exhausting, emotional, fighting in court, year after year. Think about that. At the peak of his career, he was also facing some of the hardest moments of his life. This is the contradiction. The world sees success, but it does not see the cost. Let me ask you something. If you could have everything you dreamed of but lose something you love, would it still be worth it? Brad Pitt lived that question. Every day, his success was real. His pain was also real. And maybe that is why his performances became even stronger. Because now he was not acting pain. He understood it. Remember the question from the beginning? Can being too good looking become a prison? The answer is yes. For years, his looks opened doors. But they also built walls. People saw the surface. They ignored the depth. It took him years to break out of that golden cage. And when he finally did, he paid the price. Because becoming your true self is powerful. But it is never easy. Not the fame, not the money, but the truth behind it. Because Brad Pitt's story is not really about Hollywood. It is about identity. It is about pressure. It is about becoming someone the world expects and then fighting to become yourself again. Think about this. How often do people try to look perfect? To act perfect? To be liked by everyone? It looks good from the outside. but inside it can feel empty. That is the first lesson. Perfection can become a trap. If you spend your life trying to look perfect, you may lose what makes you real. Brad Pitt had the image, the success, the attention, but none of that gave him peace. Only when he accepted his imperfections did he start to feel free. Now here is the second lesson. Being misunderstood is not the end of your story. For years, people did not see his true talent. They judged him too quickly. They saw his face, not his depth. But he did not stop. He kept improving. He kept choosing better paths. And slowly the world changed its mind. So if people do not understand you right now, that does not mean you are wrong. It may just mean your time has not come yet. And here is the final lesson. Be real, not perfect, not popular. Real, because in the end, people connect with truth, not with an image, not with a mask, but with something honest. Let me ask you something. Are you living the life you truly want or the life people expect from you? That question can change everything. Now, let's break down a few key words you heard in this story. These are not just vocabulary words. They're ideas. Flawed means not perfect. Something with mistakes or weaknesses, but still meaningful. He realized that a flawed life is still beautiful. Authentic means real, genuine, true to who you are. He stopped chasing fame to become an authentic artist. Misunderstood means people see you the wrong way. They do not fully understand you. For years, his true talent remained deeply misunderstood. These words describe his journey. And maybe they describe yours too. So here is something simple you can do. Try using one of these words today, in a sentence, in your own story. Because language is not just something you learn. It is something you live. And maybe this is where your story begins. Have you ever felt misunderstood by the people around you? Write one sentence in English using that word in the comments. I read them. And if you want to keep building your English through real stories, stay with me. Not everyone who looks perfect feels complete. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can become is yourself.